Joining me now is the president of BKFC, and of course, it is David Feldman himself. David, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ryan, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I'm excited to talk to you, and there's a lot to get to. Obviously, the huge signing of Paige Van Zant. You got BKFC 12 coming up very soon, September the 11th. So a lot to dive into, but I want to start at the beginning. You know, it's been 2 years now, a little over 2 years. BKFC 1 was in June of 2018. How pleased are you with the progression of your promotion? Did you think you'd be where you're at right now?
I mean, it's something that we plan to be. We plan to be here. We didn't think we would get here this fast. We work harder than anyone else in the world. I mean, we do this 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. It's crazy. But the thing is we love it. Like everybody in the office that works with us, they love what they're doing. They love the building of this. Like when we did the Paige announcement, and we're doing different things. We're now on SportsCenter on social media keeps posting our fights. It's just all part of the growth, and it's phenomenal to see the growth, but to see the smile on everyone in the office face. They're like, man, this is just, excuse me, I mean, this shit is really working, man. But it is. It's great to see when you really work your ass off. And they say blood, sweat, and tears, but literally blood, sweat, and tears. I did bare knuckle underground fights myself to get this thing going. So anything that we had to do to get it going, and to be in the position now, not that we're the biggest thing in the world, but we are being talked about amongst the biggest things in the world right now. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What gave you the idea initially to think about starting this promotion?
One of my fighters, Bobby Gunn, I was promoting professional boxing and mixed martial arts back in the early 2010, 2011 time frame. Actually, 2009, he fought for me. Sorry, it was 2009. He fought for me in Arizona. I got to know him a little bit. I found out he was a traveler, and he started telling me about how they would do these underground fights overseas, and they would bet on them. Like if they had a family issue, both families would put up money, and two of the family members would fight, and the winner got the money. And I was like, man, this shit is cool, man. So I started researching the bare knuckle fighting, and I did it for a while, and then I went to him one day. I had a great relationship with a native casino in Scottsdale, Arizona, the Fort McDowell Casino, and I went to them and I said, can I do this bare knuckle fighting event? And they didn't really know much about it. They're like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. So we planned it. It was August 5th, 2011. Senator John McCain called the day before, tried to get it shut down. And luckily I had the right tribe on my side. They were actually the first casino to do Indian gaming, which was tremendous. They had a bingo parlor. It's a cool story. That's why I'm going to tell real quick. They had a bingo parlor, and they put in slot machines. And the state came in with all moving trucks to loaded up their slot machines and attempted to get off their land. And the whole entire tribe surrounded them, and they had a 3-day standoff. They wouldn't let them off their land, and then the governor flew in and signed Indian gaming. So I was like, man, I have the right tribe here for me. So it was great. They told John McCain very respectfully that we were going to go ahead with this thing, and we did. So I did the first fight August 5th, 2011. We did like 5,500 people there. You couldn't get in the place. There was a line to get in. But we were on this streaming platform where we're only charging like $3.99 for it. We had almost 1 million people logged in to get it, but the paywall crashed, so we weren't able to get paid. But we were like, holy shit, this kind of money, like it was like unbelievable. So we just kept pushing it. And, long story short, to get to where we were in June, 28 states said no to me. I just kept flying around the country, making calls and trying to get this thing legalized. Quit a couple times and got back into it, and was able to have a great conversation with Brian Pedersen of Wyoming Mixed Martial Arts Board, and he was like, I love it, let's do it. So we did it June 2nd, trending #1 on Twitter and Twitter in the entire world. It was unbelievable night for us, and here we are, a little over 2 years later, and people are going. And the first fight was like Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Oh, it's pretty cool. It won't last. Like 3 fights later, oh, it's just a fluke. It's it's a flash in the pan. It'll go away soon. Then it's like, are they going away? Then it's like, holy shit, they're not going anywhere. They're here to stay, and we're here to stay. And look, Paige Van Zant is I know you're going to get into it, but I just want to say real quick, she has a tremendous following, and she's a good fighter. what I'm saying is she was one of the most sought after free agents in this time period in all of combat sports, and Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship was able to secure. So that says a lot about where we are right now, a little over 2 years after the inception of the sport.
Absolutely. Very well said. I appreciate you telling me the story as well. And we're going to 100% dive into Paige here soon. I do just want to touch on a couple more questions here first. You know, you talk about Twitter and just the age that we're living in of social media. It seems like no matter what you do, you know, or who you are, you're going to have haters and people that try and drag you down and say you can't do this or that. When you look at what you're doing and the people that are your naysayers that say, oh, you're just a flash in the pan, you're going to be going away soon, like what do you feel like it separates BKFC from some of those other promotions? Obviously, you know, you have the UFC that's at the top of the food chain right now, and Bellator, and you guys are really making a name for yourself, but it's a different sport in a sense. It's it's bare knuckles. It's different than MMA. So what do you think it is that is going to set you guys apart here moving forward?
I think it's just they're all great sports. They are, and they're great companies. Obviously, the UFC is at the top of the food chain. Bellator, Scott Coker, and all the staff there are really, really great guys. I don't know if they're going to say the same about me, but it doesn't matter. I'll take my hat off to them. They built really great companies. Scott is a visionary. Dana White took it from nothing and made it into a multi-billion-dollar industry. So, you know, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal what they did. I think what separates us is we're a lot more fast-paced. We're 5 2-minute rounds. I think you get a lot more action with us. It's nonstop action because it's only 5 2-minute rounds, and it's real. I mean, it's as real as it gets. You don't get any more real than this. And the thing is it's the sound. Here's what really keeps them coming back. It's just this. I did it before, but it's this. It's that sound, and you hear it when you're at a live event or with all the microphones we have around the ring. You hear that sound, and that gets you like, wow, that's unbelievable. I think that also, it's funny what I said yesterday at the press conference. You know, in boxing, there's hundreds of thousands of fighters. In MMA, there's hundreds of thousands of fighters. In bare knuckle, there's a couple hundred fighters. So we're giving them the platform now where they have a way better and faster chance of becoming a star and or superstar right now because there's not as many people to compete off of. So they can perform well and excel in our promotion right now at this time. They become the face of the organization, and to be the face of a new sport is a beautiful thing, and it's a great shot for them to do it. I think that's kind of what separates us right now. And you know, we're doing fantastic. We did a fight on July 24th. We did it free on YouTube and on our new app that we have, the Bare Knuckle TV app. And again, not putting anything down, but one of those promotions that we mentioned, we went head to head with, and we tripled their viewership. So it was a great, great night for us.
Yeah, well, again, you guys are doing great things. You know, as far as the perception goes for BKFC, you know, when I look back at the Jason Knight, Artem Lobov, the post-fight pictures, and you look at their faces, you're like, oh my God, like it looks like they got into a horrific car crash or something. Do you feel like that there's any difference with maybe the longevity of these BKFC fighters and maybe their health long term, or do you feel like it's not any more dangerous than MMA or boxing?
Well, I mean, statistically, it's no more dangerous than boxing or MMA. Statistically, we have less injuries than boxing or MMA, with the exception of lacerations. Statistically now. So before, when I went around all the states and I told the media, oh, I'm telling you it's safer, and I really did believe it, but I had nothing to really base it off of other than research I did. Now, all these fighters, all this injury reports that we're doing, all the statistics that we have, and this deep into it, I can say right now we have less injuries than boxing or MMA. So, am I concerned about the fighters' health? I'm always concerned about the fighters' health because they fight for me and they fight for the fans to give them the best they can. It's two people hitting each other and anything can happen, you know, at any given time. So I'm always concerned. Am I overly concerned? I'm not, because I see what's been happening, and I also see the safety precautions. I see the medical staff that we have at ringside. We do everything above what we're supposed to do. So I think the fighters are in a very safe environment. I think as we evolve and get more and more fighters on board that really are skilled fighters, I think most of that perception is going to go out the window, because you're going to see a lot more skilled fighters in there, and they're going to learn the tricks of the trade a little bit. So, you know, I'm happy to where we are right now. I love the sport. I love where we are, and I love the safety aspect of it.
Mhm. This might be a very clear answer here, but when you look at combat sports in general, do you feel like it is the fastest growing sport in the world? And where do you see yourself, 5 years from now?
I mean, it's 100% the fastest growing sport in the world. A lot of people, it's funny because some son and my social media guys go, fastest growing combat sport in the world. I say, yo, take that combat out of it. We're the fastest growing sport in the world, and we really are right now. And does that say a lot? I don't know. I don't know what it says, but I know, we're a new sport, so we're growing faster than anybody. I mean, that helps us. But the popularity is skyrocketing. The fighters love it. The fans love it. It's just the media is starting to really like it too. They're starting to really get it and say, wow, these guys are going to be around for a while. So, it's a phenomenal spot to be in right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys are clearly doing a great job. Let's talk about this last event that you guys had, BKFC 11, July 24th. You guys had it in Mississippi. It was headlined by Palomino, finishing Valley Flag in the main event, obviously for the title. Overall, with this crazy pandemic going on and all the restrictions and everything you had to do, how did that event go off? How pleased are you with the overall result of it?
It was phenomenal. It was a really big uphill climb to get that event done. We were shut down 2 or 3 times before that, and we thought we were getting shut down 2 days before it. So we did everything we had to do. We tested all the fighters, we tested all the staff, and knock on wood, man, not one positive COVID test. So it was phenomenal there. We were actually one of, if not but one of the first live sporting events in all of the United States with fans in attendance. We had limited fan base there. They loved it. And we followed all the safety protocols, and everybody came out of there unscathed. We didn't hear of anybody getting COVID after it either. So it was a great event. We were so pleased with it, and it was great to get back to work, get people paid, get them happy, get them back in the atmosphere. It was an unbelievable night for us.
Do you feel like with kind of the precedents that the UFC and Dana White set with being showing that they can put on events safely and continue to do so, that you guys have basically kind of learned from that and have been able to really implement the right things to do moving forward? And so this is going to be something where we're going to actually have live events, and they're not going to be shut down at all here moving forward?
100%. I mean, there are going to be certain areas and territories that we go into that, depending on what state you're in, if there's a high COVID rate or if they pull back the phases. I mean, anything can happen because we're not doing it. We're not at that position yet to have our own facility where we can do these fights like the UFC did. But absolutely, I learned from what the UFC did, because we did have a fight planned in early April. Because I was like, wow, we could be the first one to do this, so let's just do it. And I'm really happy we didn't, because we probably wouldn't have been as safe as we should have been. And I'm glad that we waited and were able to follow all the protocols, because there were no protocols then. So who knows if everybody would have contracted it, and it would have been a very bad look for us and endangering the fighters and the staff. Wouldn't have been a good thing for us. So I'm glad that we were able to follow the UFC's success in that. And here we are. Got another fight card coming up on a very, very, tragic but historic day in American history, and we plan on utilizing that day as well to make some other statements.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to be diving into that in a minute. Now, the main event of BKFC 11, Palomino. There's a match that I know a lot of your fans really want to see with Jim Allers. When is that going to take place?
I don't have an exact date. It's going to take place in November or December. It should take place on the debut of the Paige VanZant. It's going to be for the championship, obviously. We actually had a press conference yesterday with Paige VanZant, with Thiago Alves and Hector Lombard announcing our next card, and they were both there. Jim had got a belt made up. He said, I'm the real champion, so he had his own belt there. Palomino had his belt, and they went face to face. Actually, Palomino headbutted him. It was a bad scene, but it was great. It was a great promotional hype up that fight. I think that's going to be a fight that a lot of people want to see, and I think I don't think it goes past 2 rounds. It's going to be an unbelievable, fight full of fireworks.
Yeah, and that really did hype the fight even more so. I did watch a lot of the press conference, and that did catch a lot of headlines. Do you feel like that fight could maybe challenge Knight Lobov or another 1 or 2 fights as maybe the greatest fights that you guys have put on so far?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about both of those guys, they're very fast starters. They come right off the line and they start banging. So it has every the recipe for a really, really exciting fight, and I think it's going to be. And I'm really looking forward to that fight. Prior to that, obviously, we have a couple more cards, and I'm excited to talk about them when you're ready to, because these cards that we have coming up, we're doing September 11th, and then we have a small show that we're going to be doing that we're going to be overseeing. So I'll just tell you now what we're going to be doing. We have a fight series called Total Line Fight Series, which we're going to kind of oversee that, but we're going to work with local promoters in the different states that were legal to put on smaller builder feeder shows, if you will. So we're going to build up Bare Knuckle, get Bare Knuckle more popular all around the country, and pick our BKFC fighters from that crop of fighters. So it's kind of like a feeder league, but it's a way to get these guys, a lot more guys fighting and a lot more people knowing about what we're doing. And that's all going to live live on the Bare Knuckle TV app.
Have you announced that yet?
I didn't officially announce it, so I'm just talking a little bit about it now, but we're going to officially going to announce it next week.
Wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate you filling me in now. That's fantastic. Now, one more question before we dive into this upcoming card. You got a fellow by the name of Chris Sarro that is a scary heavyweight that is 2-0 for you. He just finished his second opponent. He knocked out John McAllister and then Victor Jones recently. How good can this guy be? And I know a lot of people want to see him against your champion, Beltran. Is that something that could happen?
We'll see what happens. I mean, the big thing is going to be, he can't read his own headlines, meaning he can't get overhyped on his success right now. As long as he stays focused and stays in that gym, he can crack. The dude can crack. He's this big, strong dude, and he can fight. As long as he keeps his head screwed on right, there's no telling where he's going to go. He's got a great personality. He's very buildable. He's got a great character. So I think we can do some big things with him. But, we do have to see him take a shot, and hopefully that he can absorb it good. My senses are telling me he's going to be a force to reckon with all the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, light heavyweight and heavyweight fighters.
Mm-hmm. He also mentioned that he would really like to get in there with Hector Lombard. Is that a matchup that interests you if they both keep winning?
We'll see what happens. Yeah, absolutely. It could be. I was actually I wanted to do Chris Lieben versus Hector Lombard. I thought that would be a very intriguing matchup, but Chris went on to retirement, which I'm happy to even talk about now, that Chris will be a part of our company in an official role, in an ambassador role. The first tryouts we're doing actually August 29th. Next Saturday, we're doing in right outside Kansas City, Kansas. We're doing tryouts, and Chris will be one of our fighters there, evaluating the fighters and seeing who gets awarded 2 BKFC contracts.
That's fantastic. Well, again, a lot of great things coming from you guys. Let's talk about Paige Van Zant and how this came about. I believe you said one of your commentators is the one that had a relationship and maybe put it into motion here. But how are you guys able to land her when you have everyone else really just chasing her? Because she clearly was the biggest free agent signing that there was out there.
I think it was just everything that we packaged to deal with it. It was getting her in front of the camera more. Obviously she wants to be in front of the camera. That's what she wants to do. She wants to be some kind of TV or movie personality, and I think that we're going to help her get there. I think the other thing with us is, and it's cliche to say it, but we are a very family atmosphere here. I mean, I'm David Feldman Sr. I'm the president of the company. My son David Feldman Jr. is the director of operations. All my good friends that I grew up with are working for us. It's a tremendous feel to have these guys that I've been working with so long actually building this thing up, and it's a big family atmosphere. And I think for her, she said she wanted to be a part of a team and part of a family. Well, we have a great family atmosphere. We have a tremendous team, and we're going to build her on a lot of different fronts. So I think it's a win-win, because already our social media is just going crazy with the announcement, and we're gaining so many different followers. So it's already working, and she's a really nice person. Her husband, Austin, is just a tremendous human being. I really like him too. I got to meet both of them yesterday. Phenomenal people, and I think it's going to be a pleasure to really build with them. But I think that what we did is let not just the other promotions, but let all the fighters know, wow, there is another option out there now that can really pay well and is a great platform, and that's us. We had a great internal meeting, and we knew this day was going to come where we were going to have to take a plunge on something that was pricey, but it was the right time at the right place, and we made this move, and we feel as though it was a very, very phenomenal acquisition for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Yeah, and David, the UFC takes a lot of flack for maybe not paying their fighters what they deserve. Do you feel like this is an instance and a way that you can kind of differentiate yourself and show that you can pay fighters more moving forward? Or is this maybe like a one-off where you're getting her in and then you'll just see what happens moving forward?
No, we have two superstars that we're about to sign any day now that are, people went wow with Paige Van Zant, and now they're going to go wow and wow again. So it's not, I want to send a message out very clearly. We're not spending money foolishly. Everything we do is very, very calculated, meaning we spend the money, we put an offer on the table, and now you have to perform. You perform, you hit that mark, you get paid more. But we paid her very nicely, but we feel as though we're in a position to do that with a couple more fighters right now, superstar-ish fighters, and then also some star fighters, and also build our own talent. That's why we're doing a smaller show. So I think right now is just it's the best time for this company. I'm smiling from ear to ear. It's the greatest. I feel like we're not there, but I feel like we turned that corner, and now it's just right up the road.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. As far as PVZ's first fight goes, obviously you're keeping that close to the belt right now. But I mean, I'm not sure what your situation is with Becca Rawlings. I know she's fought for Bellator twice now since she last fought for you. You got Helena Peralta and Cristina Ferreira calling her out. Like, what do you think makes sense just off the top of your head right now?
I just think the first fight just needs to be something that gets her used to this and gets her feet wet against a credible opponent that can stand and bang with her. It doesn't have to be a huge name. And then I think we build into, is it going to be a Christine Ferreira? Is it going to be a Beck Rawlings? Is it going to be someone like that or some other? I mean, just since we signed her, we had about 20 very, very, very notable women fighters that reached out to us as well. So there's a lot of possibilities out there. But I don't think it would be fair to her or even the promotion to throw her into the lion's den in her first fight. Now, with that being said, she's going to have a fight in her hands. It's bare knuckle, and she's going to have a fight in her hands. But I don't think we throw her into the lion's den yet. And, like I said, this is a building opportunity for us, for her, and the brand. And I think, we're going to make every right move. We're going to give the fans what they want. And it's going to eventually be, she's going to be in there with the swimming with the sharks and really getting a taste of that.
Well, again, congratulations on that signing. That's fantastic. Now, before September 11th gets here and you have your next event, BKFC 12, you're actually holding an open tryout at American Top Team Coconut Creek. That will be August the 29th, and you have 2 spots for people that you're signing. What kind of, feedback and excitement are you getting from people about that?
Yeah, we're getting a ton of it. I mean, we're already filled, actually. I think we have like 2 spots left because a couple of people dropped out. We allowed 50 people to come out. I think, like I said, I think we have 2 left. I just want to give a shout out to American Top Team and Dan Lambert from the American Top Team headquarters, and called around all the different gyms and just welcomed us with open arms, in which a lot of MMA guys really didn't do. They had their relationships, and he gave us an opportunity, and I'll always be thankful to Dan. He's a great dude, and the American Top Team family, and to be able to hold an open tryout at American Top Team gym, spells legitimacy all over it. So we're gonna find 2 fighters that will sign to BKFC, and probably a dozen that the smaller promotions. John Carden in Kansas is going to be one of our promoters there. Will sign for the Toe the Line fight series. That one will happen October 10th in Salina, Kansas.
What will the criteria be as far as judging who you pick? Is there certain things, certain drills you're going to be putting the fighters through to decide who makes the cut?
Yeah, we're absolutely going to look at their past, look at their record, and see what they have. We have fighters there that are going to hold the pads, hit the heavy bag. We have a punch meter. Want to see how they move around, but really also want to see their personality. Can they sell a fight? Do they have what it takes to really be a star? There's a million guys that reach out to us and a million guys that want to fight for this organization. But what sets you apart from them? What makes us say, I have to give you a contract? That's really what it's going to come down to. A lot of guys can fight, and in bare knuckle, even a lot more guys can fight, because you can get 2 average guys into a bare knuckle fight, and it's going to be a really, really exciting fight. So with that being said, you have to be a little something special, and tell me why. Like, why do you really want to do this? Why do you think you can be the champion? Why are fight fans going to tune in to watch you fight? That's really a really big, important reason to be able to receive that contract.
That's awesome. Well, I really got to applaud you for what you're doing to honor our men and women of the service on 9/11. Can you elaborate a little bit more as to what that will be that you're going to do there before this next event?
Absolutely. we're gonna have we gave out a whole bunch of tickets to firefighters and police all around that area. We're gonna honor them. We asked them to come in uniform if they're allowed to. We're gonna have one line of police officers and one line of firefighters lining up each aisleway as the fighters walk out. We're gonna commemorate one fallen police officer and one fallen firefighter's family. We're going to bring them down there and make a donation to their family, someone that something happened to them on September 11th, 2001, 19 years ago. I just want, I really just want all the fans and everybody that's going to watch that event to know that we are so pro-American. We are America. I mean, there's a lot of good and bad in the country, and that's okay. But we're a free country, and you have an opportunity to be anything you want to be here. You have opportunity to do anything you want to do, and I'm chasing my dreams, and everybody can chase their dreams. And the police officers and the military and the firefighters and the first responders that are there to protect us, we're absolutely going to take our hat off to them and honor them that night. And we're working on a very, very special national anthem singer, so hopefully that comes to fruition Monday or Tuesday. And it's just a phenomenal. I'm really more excited about the tribute, and I have great fights that night, but I'm more excited about the tribute than the fights because it's going to be really, really great.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And again, thank you for doing that. I love my country, and that's just so amazing that you're doing that. And I think it's just going to do wonders for your promotion even more so moving forward. I can't believe it's been 19 years since then. I mean, I was just a kid at the time. Do you remember where you were when that happened? I'm sure you did. Can you just tell me about that?
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually doing some boxing training on an Army base. I was on an Army base outside Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and it was about 30 miles away from where the one plane actually crashed. And I remember my son's mother at the time called me crying because my son thought that I got killed because I was flying that day. And it was an unbelievably somber time, but I absolutely remember exactly when I got told, and I was like, what? And then we watched the TV like everybody else, and just in disbelief that this happened to, really the greatest city in the world, and all these people. It was horrible. And we really went out in this event to say that we won't forget. Other people did forget, and some politicians and different cities and things like that did forget, and they were going to cancel their 9/11 tribute. And we're not going to forget that, because how can you forget that, really? And I don't want to the whole time about this, but I am, taking my hat off to all these guys, all these men and women and children and everybody that was affected by this really horrible act of terrorism that hit our country. And we're going to do everything we can to stand up and show that we support America and we support everything that's good about the country.
Well, again, I love it, and I applaud you for doing that. Now, I was looking on Tapology earlier today. From what I can tell right now, there's 2 matchups that have been announced for this BKFC 12 card. You got Thiago Alves and Phil Baroni. You got Hector Lombard and Kendall Grove. Has there been any other than those 2, or is that all you have right now to announce?
No, we do. We actually have Christine Fierro be stepping into the ring, and she's going to fight Callie Cutler. Callie Cutler lost to her in a kickboxing match, but she's going to try bare knuckles. We have Lorenzo Hunt is fighting, I can't remember, Eric Lozano out of Michigan, and it's going to be another really good fight. Another really good fight that I'm excited about is we have Jared Warren from Tampa, Florida. He fought for us before. He's actually a firefighter, so we're going to do a little commemorative thing with him there as well. And just we have so many different guys in the card. We're going to drop the whole entire card on this Friday. It's going to be a tremendous card. Again, we have Abby Velasquez versus Reggie Barnett, two of our veterans, and this is their time to toe the line, so it's going to be a great fight there as well. And debut kid from my guy, we call him the Haitian Sensation. He's a phenomenal amateur boxer, and he's going to fight at 135 pounds. So many guys. I encourage you to watch. If you're a fight fan, watch the fights. If you're a fan of this great country, watch the fights, because you're going to see a little bit of everything that night. And again, that'll all be live on the Bare Knuckle TV app. You can download it. I got to throw my little plug in. You can download it at the App Store, at the Google Store, or anything like that. It's Bare Knuckle TV, or you can go to bkTVapp.com.
Perfect. I'll definitely be watching. I won't miss that 100%. Now, how excited are you to have Thiago Alves in your promotion fighting? And give me a little preview with this matchup with Phil Baroni. What do you think the fans can expect to see?
Well, the thing is I know that Phil's training really hard right now. He didn't fare well in his first bare knuckle fight, but he wasn't really training, and he was probably partying too much from when I got out of it. Right now, he's living and training in a training camp in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so he's getting phenomenal condition. And this is his last shot probably ever to fight again. Period. If he doesn't come out. At least put on a great performance. And to fight Thiago Alves, who was another sought-after free agent when he got released by the UFC, and we picked him up, and it was a great addition. Really, really great, humble guy, a family man, and talk about a guy that can bang. This is going to be fireworks for as long as it lasts. This one won't go to distance. This one will go, again, probably 1 round, could go 2 rounds at the most, but these guys are going to throw fireworks, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I think I'm equally as excited for this Lombard and Grove fight as well. What do you think we're going to see in this one?
Well, Kendall's been bugging me and begging me for the past 9 months to get back in there. He said I didn't give my best. I didn't come in great shape on my last fight, and I want to redeem myself. And I said, how would you like to fight Hector Lombard? And he said, I'm really good friends with him. He said, sign it. I'm like, whoa, let's do it. And Hector really had a good fight last time. It wasn't fireworks, a little lackluster. And he said he's here to prove a point and really make a statement on September 11th. So that's going to be a great fight.
Awesome. Well, again, I really appreciate the time. BKFC 12 goes down, obviously, on September the 11th. I cannot wait. I want to give you the last word. If there's anyone you want to thank, any more social media you want to plug, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, just hit us at Bare Knuckle FC on Instagram or Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship on Facebook. I don't use my Twitter a lot, but I'm Bare Knuckle DF on Twitter. I'm just starting to use that now. Our YouTube page has so many different fights, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. But really, do yourself a favor and check out all our library, all the shorter programming, all the content, our future live events at bktbapp.com. And Ryan, thank you so much for having me. It's been great talking to you. And anytime you want me back, let me know.